ever since he asked me for his first cooking job. He was a slim, impossibly intense busboy working in our dining room back in Lake Forest, Illinois, where I was chef. I had just returned to Illinois after almost 10 years of cooking in Key West. I told him, "No, we don't need anyone." And I thought, poor kid, so scrawny, someone should just feed him. But our sous chef nagged me for a few days. We could use him making salads. So it began. Years passed and Charlie showed first Chicago and then America what he could do. My scrawny little brother was tearing up the rule book. Charlie had gotten to know Emeril a year or two before I did. Em was the chef at Commander's Palace in New Orleans, and Charlie had gone down to do an event with him. I remember Charlie calling me on the phone in Miami Beach, where I was chef of a Mano at the old Betsy Ross Hotel on Ocean Drive, and telling me that we all needed to get together. He told me that I would fall in love with Emeril. So will Janet, my wife. You two are going to be like brothers. This guy's great. He's got this psycho killer red Porsche straight out of a Hunter Thompson collection, and he took me all around the Big Easy. He owns that town. He's going to open up his own place like any minute. And so that began too. We got nicknamed the Triangle for our geographical locations on the grid of the American map. We were also connected by the same sense of passion that athletes and musicians feel. And now in this kitchen, with 350 folks, plus Julia Child, waiting for our food, was the part when it's still quiet and your adrenaline is flowing and you are ready to rock and roll. And it was then that the well-dressed maitre d' gave us the signal. Fire first plates! We jumped into the river of no return. Over 700 shrimp that we had peeled that morning and marinated that afternoon hit 3 blazing hot grills. Emeril made some last-minute adjustments to his huge cauldron of rice. He raced over to Charlie and me and lifted up 2 tasting spoons brimming and steaming to our lips. Orgasmic, lethal, righteous. When he saw our faces, he broke into a huge grin. He looked like the kid who hit the winning home run at the Little League World Series and was now rounding the bases, waving his cap to the crowd. 30 chefs were lined up at 2 long plating tables. Emeril and I made 1 sample dish for each group to show the other chefs the way we wanted our food plated. The assembly line went into gear, steadily gaining momentum until we were ready to hand the servers 2 plates each, no fucking trays, to take to the grand dining room past the ice machines, down a long hall with gathering speed and hell-bent for leather determination. The Delta crayfish with red beans and rice cake was at the perfect temperature now. The shrimp with chorizo perched just so on top sent out its hot and smoky perfume. The plates were given a last-second swipe with a hot cloth by our wives at the far end of each line. Either they or we personally inspected the assembled chef's efforts and then and only then allowed the plates to go out. We had about 30 dishes ready and moving out to the hall when the tuxedo dandy came running from the dining room and screeched, "Stop, stop, stop! They are not ready! Another speech has begun!" Emeril was on him first. "What are you saying? You said to fire the food, and it is fired, man." 30 chefs froze in horror. Everyone understood the gravity of the situation. Our shrimp would be overcooked, our rice cakes would be cold, and Julia Child was out there in that dining room. Fucking Julia fucking Child, man! The feeling was nauseating, and I almost couldn't take it. The espresso churned in my guts and sloshed around my heart. Charlie dashed over to us, and we huddled quickly. We were agreed. Emeril and I marched back to the top of the plating lines. You could have heard a sprig of parsley fall. Charlie bellowed, "Send the goddamn fucking food now!" Jim Morrison, in his whiskey-a-go-go prime, couldn't have screamed any louder or looked any more possessed than Charlie did at that moment. The maitre d' was nearly knocked down by the servers rushing the hot plates past him, into the banquet hall, and on to Miss Child's table first. Over the next 2.5 hours, we sent out the remaining 6 courses. 350 guests. That's a lot of china. The kitchen is often described as being a place that takes on a balletic grace, a place where a disparate group of human beings become a fluid dynamic of precision and perfect accord. And if the chef chooses to change a garnish at the last second, each chef de partie would see that and immediately conform to the new way of doing things. That can be true of small kitchens, catering to guests arriving over the course of 10 half-hour intervals. We fill the tickets and fill the orders table by table.